It's not a Java application.
Say that again.
I'm getting an error when I'm trying to launch this.
Is it on your import line?
It doesn't have any errors.
Yeah, I had an error and I just deleted the module file in the project and it fixed it for some reason.
Oh, you probably might have created a
hold
module
on.
project. That's the problem. Yeah, do not create a module project.
Oh, okay.
What is
Yeah.
it? What's the difference? What's a module project?
Well, it just requires you to create a module to run everything.
All right, let's see if this works. There we go. Yep, we're good. I had so the other recursion problem I had errors in it, so it would not let me launch the whole project as a whole.
Oh, okay, okay, I see that.
All right, I'm good to go.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, is everybody good on this one?
Yep.
This first total problem, Luke?
Yep.
Jessica?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Okay, now let's move on to, we did some lambda and without lambda problems last time. So let me create our very first class here for today. We're going to call this one anonymous handler without lambda. Anonymous handler means that your handler doesn't really has a name, which is called your unknown inner class. And the parent will be JavaFX application. And make sure you check inherited abstract methods and finish. I'm creating a horizontal box. Setting my spacing. And adding a few buttons. Devin, did you add those packages right at the beginning when you create a project? So when you go to File, New Project, and then you don't hit Finish, you have to hit Next. Then you go to Libraries, then you add external jar, and you add all these external jars. and then you hit finish. Did you do that step? Okay, yeah, that's the reason that you're not seeing. So probably, let me, if you can do this, right click on the project and go to properties. And go to Java build path and libraries and add it now. And probably see if that fixes the problem. Though, so that's how my output looks like right now. After I declared, after I instantiated all these button objects. And I added those button objects to my horizontal box. Devin, did that solve your problem? Okay, okay,
Hey, just 1 second. I have a.
sure, that's fine. In the meanwhile, let me add one more property for you guys to see the difference. I don't think so that we have worked with this particular property before. It's the set alignment property, which comes from a special class called POS. So I want you to see the difference between my two outputs. The bottom one is my previous output, and the top one is my new output. So as you can see that it center aligns within the horizontal box, all the buttons.
For some reason, wait, I'm just got one extra. Oh, I have a error on add all.
You have an
Oh,
error?
never mind. Had a parenthesis.
Okay.
All
Go
good to
and
go.
say again.
I should be all good to go.
Oh, you found the problem? Okay. Now for each one of the buttons, for each one of the buttons, add an event handler to display a message on the console. An event handler that when button is clicked, a message is displayed on the console. Okay. It's your choice, whatever message you want to do. Do not use lambda expression. I am giving you guys a task to complete. I'm writing the task in the chat. Devin, share your screen, please. Okay, right click on the, no, first click on the class path. Then click on add external jars. Then select all. Then click open. And then click finish. Okay. Now go to new class. Okay, click browse. Here you go. You got it. Okay, make sure you check. Yeah. So here I have my screen sharing with you guys. So everybody can see the stuff in the chat, right? Then what I would like you to solve, add the event handlers here on line 24, and then save as this application with the new name and solve it with Lambda expression. I'll be back in like 10 minutes. I have one quick thing to do at the student services. In the meanwhile, you guys take care of this. Okay, folks, I'm back. So Jessica got it. Okay. Who else got it? Tony, are you speaking anything? Because I don't know if you were speaking or not. I can't hear you.
No, I've been muted.
Okay, okay.
I'm having some trouble finding out how to. My mind is blanking on linking the console.
So when you're clicking on the button, it is not making its way to the console?
Well, I can't think of how to display it in the console once I click on it. I tried
System.out.println.
thinking console log.
Say again?
I'm thinking console log.
No, no, see, we just did that in the homework problem. See system.out.print. Maybe you're thinking C#. C# does console.writeLine or console.log. Luke and Devin, how about you guys?
Yeah, I'm almost finished.
Almost finished, okay. With both or only the first one?
Oh, the first one.
First one, okay, okay. And Devin? Okay, okay. I'll give you guys only one of the four, and that should serve as a feeder, and the other three will be modeled exactly the same way.
Finish the first one.
So I gave you the code for one of the buttons and you can code for the other three. And then and then you can save it as anonymous handler with Lambda. And what change will I make for this code to be Lambda ready? Any thoughts?
Just the one method or the entire file? Because I would just delete the rest.
Can you speak just a little louder?
You can delete up to new button dot set action right before, yeah, and you can put.
This whole thing? This whole thing?
You don't need the parentheses either.
Okay. Okay.
E,
And E, okay.
that'd be just a dash, right?
The Lambda expression, okay.
Yep. And then that's it.
No.
Other than then you don't need the override public void handling. You don't need anything other than the action statement.
Absolutely. Cool, awesome. Okay. So that will make your code Lambda ready. Absolutely, cool. And then you got to repeat the same process with each one of your buttons. Nice, good job. Please let me know when everybody's caught up. Then we will move on to our thread applications.
I'm good to go, Professor.
Okay. Let's wait, Luke, let me know when you're ready and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I'm about to be good.
Okay, cool, awesome. So our next class will be dealing with threads. And you guys remember when we worked with threads last time, that threads allow you to create lightweight processes, and those lightweight processes allow you to run multiple processes within a single process simultaneously while your program continues to run. So to make this happen and to see how threads can misbehave, and then we will learn to behave them, we'll teach them to behave. So we'll create a class called account without sync. Without sync, okay, with a public static void main. And this is not a JavaFX application, okay? So let me first create a named inner class called account. We created a named inner class last week as well. So private static class. Before we go any further, I will explain to you what is the purpose of this method deposit.
For some reason, it's giving me an error on the variable balance.
Did you declare that line 6?
Yes, as a private int, balance equals 0. And for some reason, at the get balance, it's telling me balance cannot be resolved to a variable.
Check your curly braces. Maybe you're writing stuff outside of the inner class. So make sure your line 5 through 21 matches
You
with
are
my
right.
lines 5 through 21. That probably
right.
could be the only reason I can think of.
That was great.
Okay. So here the purpose of deposit method is that it will receive a parameter called amount. It will take the amount and it will add that to the balance. Amount plus balance will going to create a new value for new balance. Then we are making the thread sleep for 5 milliseconds. And after that, we are copying the value of new balance into balance. So we are updating the value of balance after a 5-second sleep. The whole idea in this example is to create a thread application with multiple threads and make them all deposit some amount and try to change the value of balance. And then check to see if value of balance gets changed in some kind of a sequential manner, or they all haphazardly try to access the same resource and mess it up. Does that make sense? Where we're going with this?
Yep.
Okay, so now we will create another named inner class called add penny task, implementing a runnable interface, which is used as a replacement of a thread class. Private static class implements runnable and then add an implemented method, which is run. So I'll take the account object, which I declared on line number 24, which is a type account, and I'll call the deposit and we'll add a cent or a penny to that method. So I'm just simply adding 1 penny on each call. That's all I'm doing. Okay, now I will take help from a thread generator and a thread controller because I want to create several threads. So we can take help from what we call an executor service. To create a pool of threads. I'm creating 100 threads in this pool. And by calling the add penny, oops, sorry. Add penny task. And then executor to shut down after this. And then wait till all threads are terminated. So while executor is terminated. What is the balance? Because we want to make sure that we only look at the balance after everybody terminates. So we'll call it get balance on the account object to see what the balance does.
Should we put that inside the curly braces or outside?
This one, no. This is just this. These curly braces have nothing to do. They're just there to make sure that all the threads are terminated. Only then this loop will automatically end, and then line 45 will run.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, thanks.
So this is just a wait period loop. And when you run it, you should expect 100 cents to be deposited, right? Because there are 100 threads and each is depositing 1 cent. But the output doesn't align with that. Okay, everybody got this?
Yep.
And also, did everybody understand what's going on right now over here?
I think so.
I don't
But-
quite understand the executor.
Well, basically what Executor does, Executor is actually a service to run multiple threads, one after another. So what we're doing is, with the help of Executor, we are creating a cached pool. So instead of creating thousands of threads or hundreds of threads and let them go out there without any controller, we are creating 100 threads and putting them inside a pool. So the pool will be responsible for taking care of them. So we don't have to worry about if anything goes wrong in terms of accessing resources or there's a bottleneck. We don't have to worry about any of that. The executor service will take care of all of those underlying details. So we are creating an executor service and we're telling it you're supposed to create a thread pool, and I'll tell you how many threads I'll place in that pool. So line 39 through 41, I'm creating 100 threads because I'm running the loop 100 times, and every time I create a thread, I give it to the executor to execute it, means run it. So all the threads that I create run. And then on line 42, I am telling the executor, now shut down all the 100 threads that you're running. And line 44, I wait till all the threads completely shut down and are released from the memory. What happens is every time a thread object is created, it automatically calls run. When it calls run, the run method uses the ACT object to deposit a value of 1. So it calls the deposit and passes 1 into the amount, which must then be added to the balance, which then should, after a 5 millisecond delay, update the value of balance from 0, which was its original amount, to a 1. So if I add to balance 100 times, the value should rise from 0 to 100. But in fact, the value only goes from 0 to 2. And the reason this happens is the thread executor executes X number of threads. They are all running concurrently. They all go and grab a value 0. Then another, and then make it a 1. Another bunch of threads come in and grab the value 1 and simultaneously make it a 2, you know? So threads are going and grabbing the values and not waiting for each other. So multiple threads get 0, they all make it 1. The next batch comes in, they all get 1 and they all make it 2. And the thread ends, the executor ends that. So there is no synchronization among the thread. Does that make sense now?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. So now what we need to do is we need to take this to the next level, and we need to tell, okay, threads, you got to do this job in a synchronous fashion. And to make thread work synchronously, there are 3 possible solutions, and I will deal with all 3 of them with you guys, okay? So let's look at the first possible solution. Let's save this example as thread with sync, and I'll put number 1 for solution number 1 and click OK. So thread with sync 1. All you need to do is this very quick fix. You see this deposit method, right? In the deposit method, just add the word synchronized. Means nobody can access it until and unless the resource is released. And the resource will not be released if it's in use. And every thread needs that resource. So entire method will be locked if somebody is using it. So let's run it. And now you will get the answer 100. That's it. That's one very quick solution.
That's nice. I like that. Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. Absolutely. So you made the entire deposit method locked. So nobody can access it. But this solution probably is a good choice if deposit is only getting used by the threads. So is everybody done with this?
Yep.
Devin and Tony?
Yeah, I got it to work. For some reason, my first application gave me a return of 1, and I couldn't
That's
find the
fine.
problem.
It's fine. It varied from computer to computer.
Oh,
you know?
really? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, because it's all dealt under under the hood.
Okay, cool. Well then, yeah, I'm good. I got this one to do it
Okay.
right.
Devin, you okay?
I'm just finishing up, sorry.
Oh, okay. Did you get the first one to work?
Yeah, I'm good on the last one.
Okay. This one, we only added the word synchronize, and that's about it to the deposit method. Let me know when you're done. Got it, Devin?
Yeah, I'm all good.
Okay, cool. Now I would like you guys to save this as sync to. Sometimes you cannot just lock the method. So because the method is being shared by other resources. So let's remove the synchronize from deposit and let's sync something else. So first, save your program as number 2 and delete the word synchronized from the line where it says public void deposit. And scroll down to where it says add penny task class. And we would like to now synchronize our run because we want to synchronize our threads. That's another approach. So what I can do is this. I can synchronize the account object. Just like that, okay? So in the thread, only this block is synchronized. That's about it. So when I run it, I still get the output 100. However, now I'm achieving synchronization at the thread level versus at the resource level.
So most often, would you say that this is the way it's being used, or is it kind of a really dependent kind of case?
Well, as I told you, if the resource is shared between multiple processes, you don't want to lock the resource.
Sure.
Rather-
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
I've got a error that says editor does not contain a main type.
Who does not contain a main type?
Tony.
No. What is the
Oh,
error?
sorry, editor. Editor does not contain a main type.
And your previous one ran just fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
All I changed was took out the synchronized word out of deposit
Mm-hmm.
and then put in the synchronized act
You know what? I think you messed up on your curly braces.
I put an extra one in there to,
Check your curly braces because it looks like you messed up on your curly braces. So main somehow got into the body of the add penny task or something like that. That's why it automatically is rejecting your main because it is unable to find main. That's what the problem is. Check your curly braces.
right, and then the last one in that chunk goes to runnable, correct? The last curly brace in that set of 3.
Yeah, so we have a synchronized block.
Yeah,
We have
that's,
one
yeah, they're
block.
all right.
And then we have this block. So your program doesn't have any errors.
It doesn't, no, there's no errors whatsoever. It says just when I go to
well,
run it, it just doesn't let me run.
Okay, go ahead, share your screen. That will be I'll be able to look at things a little bit better that way. So we get it. Okay. Can you run your program again, please? Oh. Save the changes. Is it letting you save it? Okay, cool. And okay, editor does not contain a main type. Okay, cool. Okay. Can you run the last one? The sync one?
It was doing that for me until I moved curly brace from. I got rid of one under act dot deposit and added one at the bottom. And it worked
Yeah,
out.
go to-
So like right here, so there should only be 2. So I have one that goes to the act, to the
one goes
run.
one goes to runnable.
This is for the 4. This is for the string.
Like mine only has 2 below act and then 3 at the bottom. I don't know if that's
Alright.
right, but
Try that.
that's
No, there should be, there's one for synchronized block.
Well, that works.
Line 34. No, it was correct before. It was correct before, Tony. Yeah, yeah. Put the curly braces on line 36, yeah. So you're closing the inner class on 36, you're closing the run on 35, and you're closing the synchronized block on 34. Okay, you got a loop closing, your main closing, and your class closing. Okay, run it again. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, main method not found in the class. Somewhere, something is goofy.
Is this supposed to be in the,
Oh, okay. No. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so can you click on line 23 is a closing for 7, right? Line number 22 is a closing for 15. Line number 19 is a closing for 17. That's fine. 13 is closing for that. You didn't change anything except for that one thing, I believe, right?
no, and when I just
know
moved
what?
this down to the bottom, for some reason, it ran perfectly fine with no
You know
error.
what? Go ahead, close this file, account with sync 2. Okay, after you close it, delete it. Okay, and then resave sync 1, open sync 1 and save it as sync 2 again. Okay, now without making any changes, run it to make sure that things are running fine.
What's going on?
Okay. Can you right click on week 4 and refresh? Okay, run it again.
That's so weird.
Okay, now,
Is it because I changed the name?
No, close Eclipse and reopen Eclipse to see if that fixes the problem.
Look at me always having the problems. No, it didn't fix it.
Okay. I think you stopped sharing. We can't. I
Yeah.
can't. See. Okay. So
So
run
for
it.
some, I should
Go
put
ahead and run
one.
this.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's
So
still
same thing.
public static void main. Java class. Or a Java class must extend somewhere. It is complaining about Java effects application. Why is it complaining of Java effects? You don't have Java effects. Can you open your imports? Okay. Can you open the week 4 project and source and default package? All of these are error free.
Should
Can
I
you go to
move the
that?
method?
Can you go to that anonymous handler with Lambda and run that one? Okay, and now run the other one without Lambda. Okay, now run the, okay, do this, right click on source and create a new class. And call this class test. Check public static void main, finish. Okay. And then just simply run this.
Didn't error out.
Yeah, it'll, okay, it doesn't errors up. Okay, cool. Now go to account with sync.
Because my internet
Sync 2.
connection is
Account with
unstable.
sync 2.
I'm sorry. Oh,
Yeah, click on that. Okay. Control A, Control C, and go to test.java. Control A, Control V. Okay. Now hover over on line 4 and change that to test. Okay. Now run it. Okay. Okay. Now I don't know what's wrong with that particular name.
all right.
Yeah, let's make the changes. I will share my screen next.
Want me to stop sharing?
Okay, so now you can make the changes inside. Yeah, remove the word synchronize next to deposit, and then add the synchronize block in the run method. It's hard to tell what went wrong.
Yep, we're good to go.
Okay. How about the rest of you? Everybody's fine?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I hate that that's the issue.
Good. Okay, guys, let's take a break here till 9:35, and then we will resume. Okay. And then we will add, and then I'll teach you the third approach to synchronizing this, which is through a little bit more complicated approach, but we'll get to that page. Anyway, I'll be back at 9:35.
Sounds good.
Awesome. So as I was telling you before we went on break, that we'll be looking at the third approach to solving this problem. So I'm calling mine account with sync 3. Tony is not having a good time with these names. So Tony, you can call whatever you like. So first of all, let me tell you as to what approach I will be taking, okay? So I will be taking what we call Java lock framework. So that way I can also introduce to you the Java lock framework. And while we also tackle this problem, so we can take care of multiple things at the same time. Why do you want to lock resources? You want to lock resources so that nobody can access them unless you want those resources to be accessed. So far, our approach has been that we are letting the methods, or we are letting the code block lock and unlock, sync and unsync. But as a programmer, I don't have any control over it. The locking mechanism let me have a control over it. That's the main difference. So locks work like sync. Oops. That was work like sync. However, as I told you before we went on break, more sophisticated. Okay. So let's say you have a class which has many sync methods. Just to understand. And when, let's say there are 100 sync methods in a class, only one thread can be executed by these 100 methods at any given point in time. Only one thread is allowed to access only one method at any given point in time using a sync block approach, which we did before. So what is the problem? This is a very expensive approach of locking something like that. So what locks would do, locks avoid this by allowing configuration of various locks for different purpose. Because sometimes, you would allow reads, you only want to block writes. See, sometimes you would allow read and execute, but would block writes. Sometimes you would block execute, but allow read. I mean, like, depending on how exactly you want to do stuff. So locks have a lot more variation in that regard. So what do we do in our, yeah, go ahead.
Do we change anything about this file when we saved as, or did you just start typing comments?
No, I'm just putting in comments. I did not change anything yet. Now I will go to change. The first thing I'm going to write here is I will write a private static lock object. And this will be a reentrant lock. So I'm posting something in the chat for you to read about the re-entrant lock. So once we create a lock, inside the deposit method, we will simply use the lock object to create a lock. And I will even move this instruction, line number 44, inside the try block. And also the pushing of the new balance into the balance, everything will go inside a try block. And in the finally block, I will just simply ask lock to unlock, so that everything happens inside a try block. And we do not need inside the run method the synchronization on the object. So the run method will go back to its original form.
It's kind of hard to wrap my head around a everyday use or something that we would use this particular thing for.
The locking mechanism, you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
The locking mechanism gives more control to the programmer, as I said, versus giving to the method itself. So you control what code block to lock and unlock.
Oh,
So you start a lock and you end with an unlock. So only that code block is the one that is inaccessible to multiple threads simultaneously.
oh. So you would use that particular kind of thing
And-
for transaction-based programming.
Right, and then exactly, and then you also can allow the same thread to enter and re-enter. That's why it's a re-entrant lock. Let me know when you guys are done with this one.
All good.
Luke and Devin.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Next, let's save this example as thread cooperation. This gets a little bit more complicated in thread cooperation. Because what we want to do is we want multiple operations in thread cooperation. So let me get rid of these comments I have, even though the locking mechanism is still there. Okay. But we'll be making some drastic changes to our account class. The reason I want to make some drastic changes to my account class, because I'll be changing the nature of account class to an extent where right now I'm only depositing, right? All the threads are doing what? They're going and depositing, correct? Nobody's withdrawing. So what I want to do in this example, in my next step, is I want threads to be able to deposit and threads also be able to withdraw. Okay, so you can deposit, you can withdraw. And I want to add some delay in the process so that there is sort of kind of some delay in depositing and withdrawing processes. The next complication that you usually run into is when you are withdrawing, you should have enough to withdraw, correct? So in that case, we would have to add a logic in the withdraw that if there is not enough deposit, then what you are trying to withdraw, then wait. Wait till there is enough to withdraw. Are you seeing little complications there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so a thread is trying to access a resource, is accessing a resource, but the resource says, you cannot do anything about it because I don't have enough. So now how does a thread waits and then re-enters? You know, that's where the re-entrant block is important. Wait and re-enters, wait and re-enters, and continuously does that until it is able to do that, okay? So those little things that we will be having to look at in this particular code here, okay? So we will now also introduce a static object of condition class. So this is a locking condition. Slightly different try-catch approach here, okay? So that's why I'm changing the process of my try block. That as soon as the amount comes in, add that amount to the balance. And then I want you to throw an output out on the screen saying, this is the deposit. And this is the balance. So I'm calling the get balance to grab the balance.
I know it's, there's a special name for it. What is TT or the slash backslash T backslash T?
It creates a tab space. You know, when you press tab on the keyboard?
Oh, that's a tab space.
Yeah.
Cool.
And now I need to use my condition object, which is new deposit, to signal all the waiting threads. Hey, come on, check to see if there is enough deposit to withdraw. Okay, so that's what signal all does. Tell everybody that the resource is available, I'm done. So that's deposit. Now let's write the withdraw method. That withdraw also withdraws with an amount. As long as the balance is less than what you're trying to withdraw, you gotta wait. That's what it is, okay? If balance is less than withdrawal, wait. Okay, that's what this does. So wait
Well,
for
oh,
a
sorry.
deposit.
Professor Saad.
Yes,
Is this the right editor where there's a hotkey to organize the code that we are using?
yeah, and Control Shift F.
Thank you.
So this is how a thread can be signaled to wait. You know, you are accessing a resource, but since resource can't serve you because of a condition, then the condition is asking you to wait. Remember, new deposit is a condition object. So, and it's on the lock. So the lock condition is asking you to wait till you get to signal all, right? In every deposit. And once you're outside of the while loop, you will be only outside of the while loop if the balance less than amount condition fails. So then you can withdraw that much amount. Let me know when you guys are done with the draw method, then we will make changes to the code below.
It's telling me there's an unreachable cache block for interrupted exception. The exception is never thrown from the try statement.
Okay, for the withdraw method you're talking about?
Yeah,
Okay, check your code again. Did you make sure that you call the await method here? In the while loop?
no, okay. Okay, so Yeah, I'm good to go.
Everybody good to go? Devin? Okay. Now let's scroll down to our add a penny, which is it is implementing runnable. So I will change that class to deposit task. Why? Because I want to have different threads for deposit and different threads for withdrawal. Okay, so deposit. This inside a cache. We're making it sleep for a second. And let me mathematically add random amounts. So it'll just randomly add some amounts. Okay. Let me know when you guys are done with deposit task. Tony, good?
Another error on the interrupted exception.
Do you have thread.sleep?
Why does this happen?
You
Yeah,
do?
I'm
or-
good.
Good, okay, cool. Now let's copy these comments and the entire code. And let's create another inner class called withdraw task. Withdraw task, okay? Now this will be this will be involved in withdrawing. So let me write a different code here. This will be a continuous effect. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do this. I should actually do something very similar. Okay. Can you guys make some changes to the run method up here in the try block? Let's also run these two lines in a continuous fashion because we want to continuously deposit, okay? We don't want to deposit once and stop. So make sure that your indentation is done correctly. And as I am depositing, I will also want to withdraw at a random rate. So I'm depositing at a random rate, I'm withdrawing at a random rate. But in my deposit, I have a sleep. So there will be more withdrawals and less deposits. That's and I purposely did that so that you could see it. That how these withdrawals would have to wait for the enough deposits to be made. That's why I'm purposely making the withdrawals go without sleep and deposits go with sleep. So please make necessary changes and then we'll make some changes to the main method.
We don't need a exception handler for withdraw task.
No, because we didn't write anything like thread.sleep or anything like that. We had that in the deposit one, so no, we don't.
All right, it should be good.
Okay. Now let's concentrate on the main method. We still have the executor service, right? However, you know what? Instead of new cached thread pool, let me use new fixed thread pool, and I only want to have 2 threads. One for withdrawal and one for deposit. So I do not need this loop. Rather, I want to use my executor to have one deposit task thread and one withdraw task. Okay, so those are the 2 threads I want. Then they can all shut down the same time. I do not need to do that. Okay. And then in the end, I can just simply say after they shut down. In fact, this will be because this will be an ongoing process because of the infinite loop I have. Remember that while true is an infinite loop. So I want to constantly run both threads until I kill the application. So this is a good example for you guys to see that how you can have an infinite loop. You can only have an infinite loop as long as your main has a finite loop or finite process. So main cannot have an infinite loop, but other threads can have infinite loop. So I forgot to mention that point earlier on. So now when I run this application, you should let this application run for a few seconds, then terminate the application, and then go through the entire process to see how this application is actually running. Did everybody get to see that?
Yep.
That how it starts out with a certain deposit amount and shows you that this is the deposit and this is where I am right now. And then the withdrawal happens, one, which can be easily withdrawn from 9. So the remaining balance is 8. Then 8 is withdrawn, the remaining balance is 0. And then a new withdrawal comes, but it says you got to wait for deposit. And then a deposit 5. But the withdrawal wants a higher amount. So that's why, you got to wait for a deposit, and then it says, okay, I'm depositing 1. So now it becomes 6. You still got to wait for a deposit. Okay, then deposit's 10. Now it becomes 16. Because withdrawal wanted to withdraw 8 and there was only 6. That's why it had to wait till there was enough. Then it withdraws 8, then withdraws another 8. And then it got to wait for the deposits. So that's how it continuously is running. Your numbers will be different, of course, and my numbers are different because it's all getting from the random executor, from the random method. Excuse me, Devin, what is it that you're getting? I mean, like only the numbers are different, or oh, wait for deposit doesn't show. Okay, so for that, I want you to revisit your withdraw method. Okay, go ahead and revisit your withdraw method. Did you write withdraw method? There are 2 methods in the account class, a deposit method and a withdraw method. So check your withdraw method. Tony and Luke, how about you guys?
I'm all good.
Yeah, mine's working fine.
Yeah, it looks the same. I'm going to share my screen to show you what I'm getting.
Yep. Let me stop sharing and you can share your screen now. Okay, can you scroll to the bottom? To the very bottom? No, in your code. Okay. And in your output, can you scroll up to the top in the console? Okay, just wait here. Let me have a look at the code. Oh, the reason is on line number 73, also you're depositing. That should be ACT.withdraw on line number 73. Okay, now run your application. Okay. I get the point, Devin. You don't want to withdraw. You just want to deposit money, but
That was my thought too. That's funny.
He's like, I'm not withdrawing. I only want to deposit. Okay, let me share my screen back again here and Okay. Now let me create a new class, and this new class will be called calculation app. And this will be a child of Java FX. So we will be learning a few new things about the GUI application interface. So first of all, I am declaring some text field objects and a button object. And the idea is to create a nice form through which I can accept the mass and acceleration from user and calculate force on the click of the button. So that's why I have 3 text boxes. So this will be my input box. This will be my input box, and this will be my output box, and this will be my event handler object. So that's what their purpose is. So I would like to create a grid pane object. We never get to work with grid pane before. It creates a grid-like environment, and then you can start placing objects within the grid. So I'm creating a grid pane object. And I want to set some gaps. So we need to have a horizontal gap. And we need to have a vertical gap. Okay. And then let's add this to the scene. So I will be creating 4 rows on the grid, and each row will have a label and a text field. Except for one row, which will only have a button. So let me also tell you the syntax. Is that when you place something in a row, you always write it in this way, that you first write the name of the object that you're placing, then you put the column number, and then you put the row number. Okay. And first row is 0, and first column is 0. So just remember that even though I'm saying row 1, I basically am saying row 0. Something to keep in mind when I'm writing the code here. I'll wait till everybody is done with this much, and then I'll start writing the code under the comments.
Good to go. I'm gonna make some coffee real quick.
Sure. Devin also got it?
Yeah, I'm just writing the comments now.
Say again?
I'm still writing the comments.
Okay, okay. So grid pane dot add, since I will not be using labels more than once, so that's why I will be creating them on the fly. So this is my first label that I'll put in column 0, row 0. Then I'll put my txt mass, which is my text box to hold mass, in column 1, row 0. Please make sure when you're copy pasting to make necessary changes. In the third row, I only want to place a button, and it is possible to put a button only in the second column. I can skip columns too. I don't have to fill all the columns. So button is in second column. First column is blank, has nothing in it. So this is how my application looks like right now. So everybody can get to see the same output. Did everybody see the same, is seeing the same output as I am?
Yep.
I'll take care of the event handling piece in a little while, probably towards the end of the whole process. Let's add some properties. So let's say grid pane dot grid pane dot set alignment to position dot center. We already did that with one of the other examples. So this basically takes the entire grid in the center, just like that. So that's what that does. Everybody got that?
Yep.
Now, let me disable the force box so that nobody can edit this. So it will only hold the answer. And let me change the alignment of the other or of all the boxes. So text mass dot set alignment to position dot bottom right. So all three of the boxes, when you run it, will have the right alignment. Of course, force is disabled, but the other two will have right align. So when you're entering values, they're all right aligned. Okay. Now, let's take a slightly different approach in calculations. Let's write a calculation method outside, and then we will make the event handler call that method. We have not taken this approach, which is another possibility. So public void calculations, or I should say maybe calc force. So, because the data coming in will be of string type, therefore we have to convert it to double to work with the data. So I'm grabbing the values from each of the two text boxes, converting them into a type double, and then storing them into the respective variables. Okay. Does anybody over here know the formula to calculate force?
I wish I did, but no.
Tony, Luke, Devin.
I want to say it's mass times acceleration divided by time.
No, that's it. Mass
That's
time.
it?
That's it.
That was like the whole thing I just said? Or just mass time acceleration?
Mass times acceleration. That's about
Oh.
it. The formula. Okay.
See, as coders, you just want to make it more difficult.
So now that we are calculated force, we now need to push that value into the text box. But we cannot, the way it is right now, so we got to convert it to string type. And then we can push the value in. Okay. So that takes care of that piece. So now let me run it and make sure that I enter a mass, mass acceleration. Oops, what's happening? Oh, because I never added the event handler. Of course, I need to add the event handler. We got the main piece. Okay, so once you guys are done with this, let me know, and then we'll scroll back.
All set.
Okay, so where I wrote the event handling piece, this is where I will add my calc dot set on action lambda. Now this is cool, lambda. And what should lambda do? Just simply make a call to calc force. That's it. Is it a neat?
It is so nice. Honestly, it's blowing my mind every time we use it.
So
So, hold on. Why don't you need curly braces?
because we're not writing local body.
You don't need like it's similar to the rule of an if statement if there's just one statement after.
Yeah, it's just the same thing, you know, we are basically saying that for your method needs lambda, go to calc force. Calc force is the
Okay.
method. Because
Cool.
it does need some method, either a local empty curly braces or local curly braces, or some method which has its own curly braces. Okay, done?
It says my runtime components are missing.
I couldn't hear you, Devin. Can you speak again, please? I mean, like, it wasn't clear. Okay. Your runtime components are missing. Is it like an error that you're getting? Your runtime component is missing, or it just like? Okay, can I have a look at your code, please? Let's see if we can solve the problem that way. Can you scroll down? Just stay there, stay there. So was it running before or no? Or you did not try running it before? Okay, no problem. Were you able to run a JavaFX application before? Right? Or no? Oh, I see. Okay, can you click the run menu at the top? No, there's a run menu. No, run menu. There's a menu item at the top. You know, yeah, click run, go to run configurations. Click the run configurations. You see the run configuration? It's the 6th item from the top. Click on that. Is your screen frozen? Because I see your mouse is frozen. Oh, here you go. Okay. In the run menu, Devin, not in the help, in the run menu. Oh, I don't know if your screen is frozen or what's the thing. It looks like your screen is coming to me frozen. Okay, now in the run menu, you will find run configurations, and then you would have to copy. Oh, okay, you got disconnected. Okay. So do you want to connect back? Probably. So maybe it's a run config problem that you always have to copy those variables like from the previous configs. So when you do that, it should be able to do it. So maybe. Okay, well, how about you share again? Try sharing again. Okay, click run configurations. And then click on a MyFX app, for example. Yeah, go to arguments. Yeah, copy those 2 lines from the bottom. And then go to your current one, calculation app. And then you got to go, oh, no, go back to run configurations. Go to the calculation app, go to arguments. And then in the VM arguments, paste what you copied and then apply and run. Remember, we have to do this stuff every time. So now entry value is in, okay?
I think today was like, this was the first time today we had to do this maybe. No, we had one
No, we had
other
one.
one.
Yeah, this was the second one.
Yeah, yeah. I got mixed up too, because at one point I had made a Java XF application. Well, actually, that was for the recursion problem. So then I was having an extra hard time.
Okay. Next thing is that. Just one thing. Let me check one thing on Blackboard. Oh, cool. If you guys, can you go to the unit 4? And I want you to download this globe image from unit 4. Just right click and save image as. I'll just remove the 1 from it. I'll just put it to desktop, doesn't really matter, right? Put it, okay. It's right at the bottom of unit 4. It looks like a goldenish globe. Let me know when you're done copying that, because what we want to do next is when we're running our Java application, I want to be able to change this icon, you know, next to calculation app. And that's what we want to learn, how you can change an icon of the app. So that's why I want you to first download that.
Are we putting that in the source file of
And
week
then-
4?
yeah, exactly. You then drag it and drop it on the SRC folder. Okay, so make sure you drag it and drop it on the SRC folder, so that it's not elsewhere. And then I'll show you how you can add that to your primary stage. It's actually a primary stage property. So primary stage dot get icons dot add new image. It's a bit of code that you would have to write. So line 45. And you should then be able to see the icon change for your application. I'll be right back. I need to use the restroom.
That's so cool.
Okay. So did everybody get to see the change of icon?
Yep.
Cool. Now, let's go to a next class where we will utilize some of the Java network programming stuff. We will do some of that this week and some of this next week. So identify host information. Public static void main is not a JavaFX application. Okay. We have a built-in class called inet address.
And I'm sorry, I was using the restroom. This is not a FX application, correct?
Correct, correct. Now, inet address can generate a problem. So that's why I'm adding an unknown thread exception, unknown host exception throw on the main. In case of the host is not found. But we are sure of the fact that this host exists. Where the host name can then be withdrawn from this information. And not only that, I can also grab host IP address. And here you go. You can try this with different websites and see, it will tell you that this is the name of the host and this is the IP address of the host.
Did it give you a pop-up to add
Yeah.
the
So
import?
to add what?
An import? I have an error that's saying that I need to add like unhandled exception, type unknown host
Yeah,
exception.
because of throws, you probably don't have this.
Yes, correct, correct. Thank you. Should I do the job on net? Yeah,
Say it again?
never mind. I just wanted to make sure I was gonna do the Java net, not the other one.
Yeah.
For the
yeah,
import.
Right. Okay, everybody got this?
Just type in the last line.
Okay. And that will help you get the IP address.
All right, you're good.
Now let's go to our next class here.
Why did it? I got, it gave me a error. I apologize.
It gave you an error.
Yeah, it's exception in thread main, unknown host exception, no such host is known.
Can you please confirm the web address? Did you make sure
Yep,
you
that was the problem.
W?
Yeah, I got it. It's good now. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, so our next class, we're gonna call this one Java URL 1. So we will actually use a string. I'll fill in that URL later. But there is a class called URL that allows you to assign it a URL as a string. And you got to remember that just like the other one, you got to hover over and add throws declaration so that it adds a malformed URL exception. Okay. So URL can be given a string right there and then in the double quotes, or you can first create a string and then assign it afterwards. It's perfectly okay both ways. But using URL, you can grab the protocol You can grab the host name. Oops. So let's say if I type http www.gtc.edu. It tells me that the protocol I used is HTTP and the host I'm getting connected to is gtc.edu. And I can even get the default port on the web server where it's hosted. So far, so good, everybody?
Yep.
Now open the Blackboard and grab the Blackboard URL. I'm in the unit 4 right now. Wherever you are, I just want to grab extra information other than the host name. So that's why I'm grabbing the current URL from my Blackboard course shell, and I'll just paste it right here in the URL string. And now let me run it again. See, it says your protocol is HTTPS. Your host is this, and see the port number? The port number is different, right? Okay, now let's see if we can grab some additional information and Blackboard doesn't stop us from grabbing the file name. Okay. Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, so file name would be everything after your host name is all your file information all the way down, all the way through. Okay. And the parameters is called the get query. So it only gives you your parameters. So query or parameter value pair. Parameter value pair. So that's what it gives you. So we have parameter, content ID, the value, course ID, the value, and so on and so forth. Everybody with me so far?
Yep.
Okay. How about we save this example as Java URL2 . And let me get rid of line number 1 and replace my line number 2 with a direct link to the gateway's web page. And I've changed my URL object to GTC. Let me get rid of all of this. Okay, so GTC. URL connection. That's another class. URL connection. So now I'm trying to open a connection to this website. And for this one, I will need to throw an IO exception instead of malform exception. So IO exception to change your throws instruction. So right now I am simply trying to display what content type is allowed on this website. So currently it allows text and HTML on the web page, and it is using a character set of UTF-8. Now let's see how many bytes are there on the main page. Oh, it's 54,353 bytes are there on the main page. That's how much data is there. How many characters are there, basically, in the source code. Let me know when you guys are done with this. Then I will tell you something very, very cool that we want to try next.
Good to go.
What we want to try next is we want to read the source code of the page from Java. Read the page source code. Buffered reader. New input stream reader. So I got to take my connection object and I need to get the input stream. Bit of a longer code, but I need to grab my connection and I'm streaming. I'm producing a stream into that connection to grab the data, put it into my local stream reader, and buffer all of that into my code. So I'm basically grabbing the entire content behind the scene source code and buffering it. And now I got to read from the buffer one line at a time. Read from the buffer one line at a time and display. So while input line equals to input dot read line not equals to null. As long as there is data to be read, keep throwing it out, and then input dot close. So, oh, my bad, my bad. This is loop. That's the main. I got to close outside of the loop. Wow. See, you can read the entire source code from the gateway's main page.
This is ridiculous.
Now think about it. If I create an application using Java to go to any of the website and read all its pages and grab all its source code, and here I'm spitting to the console, I could rather create files with the exact same name, and boom, in a matter of no time, I can have an entire website on my computer and I can just shoot it out there and replicate a site. So think about it, all those phishing sites We're not that difficult to create.
They just copy paste everything.
No, not even copy paste. It just
It's-
does it for you. Everything.
Exact. I mean, essentially.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool, right? How many lines did we write? If you exclude lines 12 through 14, it's basically maybe like less than 10 lines of code.
That just seems like too good to be true. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy how easy that was to do.
Yeah. Okay, guys, so that brings us to the end of today's class. This week, I'm not giving you any homework or quiz. If you have any past due items, work on those. And next week, probably I will give you something that is worth 2 weeks points. So nothing for this week.
Thank you. That's very nice of you.
Yeah, for real. Thank you.
So I'll stop the recording.